I want to give you a quick piece of advice which is extremely useful, easy to, not very high in terms of cost, in terms of applying or gaining, but the rewards for having it are extremely high. Um, one of the best things that you can do, especially if you're young, but even if you're older, but especially if you're young, one of the best things that you can do, one of the best things that you can invest in is your uh, manners or your respect in terms of how you treat people. Fundamentally speaking, every human being essentially wants to be treated well. Okay, everyone knows this. It's not like that's not like something what's it called, revolutionary that I've said. Okay, but despite everyone knowing this, it seems that many people don't actually take this into account when they're dealing with other people. If you can be the type of person who makes people feel like they're valued and makes people feel like when you talk to them, you actually respect them, when you act, how you act towards them, you make them feel like they are respected by you and that you value them and that you actually see them as an equal or like another human being, you'll have a much better time in life overall. Now, there are specific things that you can practice in terms of your good manners and your etiquette or your respect for other people. One of them, for example, would be uh, that when you talk to someone, never talk to them as if you are above them. Okay, always talk to people like they are your equal, at least. Well, that's probably the ideal, actually. Always talk to people like they are your equal. When you meet someone, shake their hand. Don't try and squeeze their hand like it's like you're trying to prove a point, like you're trying to big dog them or something. And at the same time, don't shake their hand in a way which is weak. Okay, shake their hand like you're actually happy to meet them. Um, Another thing would be if you have someone walking into the room and you respect them, like you know them, and they walk into the room, you should get up out of your seat and greet them. Don't stay on your seat. If someone older comes to the room, like an elderly person, or if you're on a bus or something like that, and an elderly person is standing next to you, or like a pregnant woman is standing next to you, or a person that has like a lot of shopping, for example, an old woman with a lot of shopping, get up out of your seat and offer it to them. Okay, give it to them. You stand instead. So it's essentially, and there's many things. I don't want to list off every example because I'll be here for a long time, but essentially, okay, and I didn't primarily learn this from a book. I learned this from the streets pretty much. Because in the real world, okay, in the real world, outside of the comfy offices and outside of the nicey fake, rules and regulations, in the real world, how you treat people can have a really devastating life or death effect. Okay, violence is the response to disrespect, essentially. So one of the things that I was taught at a very early age is make sure that you do not disrespect other people. Okay, make sure that you respect them. Because everyone, even if they disagree with you politically or in terms of your choices or whatever, if you can treat them with respect and you can treat them as if you actually are not trying to belittle them and these kind of things, then you'll be able to be around them and you'll have like a pleasant situation and you'll prevent conflict, basically. So work on your work on your manners, work on your etiquette, work on how you treat people. Be extra Go out of your way to make people feel valued. Okay. And doing all these things are very cheap. It's free, basically. It's free. You don't pay for anything doing any of these things. But the reward for doing them, not just in terms of yourself, how you'll feel like a good person, and you will become a good person because essentially it's teaching you to treat other people as if they're valuable, which is at the heart of ethics, essentially. It's the fundamental foundation of ethics. Why do you do good and not bad? It's because fundamentally you recognize that other people have value and that you have value and so on. So it will make you a good person, literally, or it will help you to become one. And then on the other side of it, your actual real life results will be amplified and much better. Okay. Because many times, very often, a person is disliked not because of what they believe in or not necessarily because of even what they do. Oftentimes a person is disliked because of how they act, in terms of how they treat people, how their attitude towards people. Um, Someone can have the right ideas, but if they treat people like they're above them and that kind of thing, then no one likes them and people hate them actually. They want bad for them. Versus someone can have like the wrong ideas, but if they're kind to people, if they're respectful to people, if they treat people with good manners and all that stuff, people will like them despite disagreeing with them. Does that make sense? And as I said, I didn't learn these rules from like a book or something like that. I learned these rules from real life situations, and I can tell you that I've been in multiple situations where my ability to demonstrate respect for other people has de-escalated violence, major violence. Excuse me. I can remember a situation, for example, where I was with another person and this other person started to act a certain way. And two other people showed up, basically, who knew this person and they didn't like him and they wanted to do something bad to him, basically. And I was able to, and these people were way bigger than I was younger this time, so these two were much bigger than me and they were dangerous, we'll put it that way. But thankfully, because of the training or teaching that I'd received from other people taught me these things, I was able to speak to them in such a way with respect and everything else that I was able to de-escalate the situation and save that man from a beating, a bad beating. In any case, okay, so learn to be respectful, and the best, if you learn this, it will really help your character a lot. And for me personally, the most satisfaction, and it will help you in any position you play. If you're playing the employee or you're playing the soldier, and you're not in power, basically, it will help you there. Help you to be a better soldier, help you to be a better employee, a better student, a great student. If you can master these things, people will like you more. People who are more powerful than you, who have more than you, they'll like you more. They'll want to do for you more. You'll walk into a room and everyone will be happy to see you, etc. So, and conversely, when you're in the power position, you're the general or you're the boss, you're the teacher, the mentor, then you will treat your uh, follower, whatever, the soldier, etc., the person who's not in the power, you'll treat them good. You'll treat them in a better way, basically. It'll help you in relationships, etc. The most satisfaction, and I'll finish with this. Excuse me. The place where I find the most satisfaction from this uh, way of behaving, for me personally, is when I'm in a position where, in the situation, it appears that I have high status or power or whatever, and then there's someone else who doesn't have perceived. We're all the same. Yeah, all this is stupid, but we're all infinitely valuable. But in any way, societally speaking, for example, when I was at this event with a bunch of rich people, stuff like that. For me personally, the most satisfaction that I got was speaking to the security guard or the waiter in the coffee area. He's making minimum wage and that. Speaking to him as if he's valuable, special, important. And the way that he felt based on that was wonderful. It's a beautiful thing, yeah. It's like pure humanity. Because we are all equal. You're essentially also telling the truth with this way of behaving. You're fundamentally tapping into the primary virtue, which is truth, because you're rejecting the idea that there is such thing as hierarchy of class or hierarchy of human beings. You're tapping into the fundamental truth that we're all equal, essentially. So, in any case, work on your good manners, work on your respect, your etiquette, and it will pay off in a big way. Okay. All right.